Okay, and without further ado, so I'm going to let every panelist introduce themselves, just who they are, what they do, and who they serve, 30 seconds each, and then we'll come back around and do the actual panel discussion. But I'd like to open this discussion by saying we brought the real estate and contractor panel here because even if you don't have the need for a real estate transaction right now, at some point you or someone you know will. You'll need to buy a home, sell a home, flip a home, renovate a home. And we have so many amazing experts right here in our own WPBA network that I decided to bring them all together to talk about the whole spectrum of real estate, right? Buying, selling, renovating, and then all of the things that go into keeping your home kept up well and maintained and ready, positioned for sale. So these people are experts. It's really, I just want to I know they're like, we're good, Sherry, we're good. There are a couple nerves up here, a couple jitters up here. I mean, I get nervous every time I come up here, true story. I have notes on my phone and notes here, but I never have to use them, but I prepare like I have to use them. And I feel like that's gonna be the same way for you guys. But I did tell them that I would do this, okay? Imagine you guys are all really good at your business, or you wouldn't have taken the chance on yourself to go get into that business, right? But then you have to talk about your business, and you have to talk about it in the front of the room, which is kind of intimidating to a room full of people who now all their faces are going blurry and you're getting all hot and you've got some nerves and flush. So I said, you know what? We're not expecting you to be perfect. We're not expecting you to perform. We're not expecting you to present. It's a room full of your peers, and you're just going to leave us with a little nugget or two today of things that we probably didn't know, but definitely should know. So I'll start with you, Selinda. Name and business. Like this.
Yes. Just like that.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Selinda Moore. I will be using my notes, just so you know. I am an author and also a realtor. I service this area, General Pasco, Hidalgo, Hillsborough, and Pinellas County. I specialize in residential real estate. I help people purchase home, sell their home, invest. So my goal is to make sure that whomever I work with is confident in making the decision, because purchasing or selling a home is one of the biggest decisions that we all do, since it's our largest asset, majority of us at least. So I want to make sure that I could be the one that educate them, walk them through the whole process, weighing the options of the pros and cons of, and work a strategy that best fit their needs. So that's 30 seconds.
Good job.
Good morning, I'm Matt Abbott. All right. I've been a member of WPBA for over a decade. I've been in this area as long as Barry, not quite as long as his dad. And just here to assist any WPBA member, your family, to find, that new home in the best neighborhood. And that's all for me. I yield my time.
Hi, I'm Nikki, Pennell. I see me having a problem with holding both of these, just so you guys know. Nikki Pennell with Infinity Contracting. I am the qualifier here in Florida. I, about 10 years ago, had another GC business in North Carolina for about 10 years, and ended up letting that go. And then I kind of thought life was, that part of my life was over. Now we're in Florida, kids are graduated, and now I get to do me. So I'm doing what I want to do again. In North Carolina, I was, jokingly, everyone called me the contractor chick as I built my business there. And when I started looking here, I was like, I wonder if that's available, because websites weren't really a thing then. But now they are, and I looked and it was available. So I don't know how it was available. So I am the contractor chick, so.
Hi, I'm Keegan, Chandler-Autrey with Sharpe Roofing, residential commercial roofing contractor. In my previous life, I did technical applications engineering, which is just a fancy way to say I did a little bit of electrical engineering, a little bit of mechanical engineering for companies like Meller Toledo, and then Hercules Hydraulics prior to that. And it was actually my good friend who's been in the roofing industry for over a decade that kind of pulled me over to this, was like, I like the way your brain works. And I'm like, I'm not sure you think that means what it actually means, but So I got pulled over to this, and I'm just having a lot of fun doing it and taking the knowledge that I'm learning and the knowledge that I already had and putting it together to help people out and help them see things that, a lot of us take for granted when it comes to our homes and our roofs. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Jennifer with Sunrise Irrigation, and we take the irritation out of your irrigation by helping homeowners protect their curb appeal, make smart decisions about their entire outdoor system, irrigation, drainage, sod, lighting, pumps and wells, because it's all connected. When something's off, you'll see it fast, brown spots, standing water, or a home that just doesn't look cared for. So I help homeowners make smart, simple decisions so everything works together the way it should, because that's what keeps a yard looking healthy and a home, I wish I could talk, standing out in the moment someone pulls up. That was horrible.
Good morning, Dustin with DNR Pest Control. I've been in the industry 15 years, so we handle anything, basically man-made structure on your property or business that you want to protect. So let it be termites, rodents, general household pests, or maybe not something I'm really sure what you're looking at, but by all means, you can give us a call, look us up online, we come right out and take care of it. Even if you're not a customer, we do a lot of free consultations, come out, or send it on through, and we'll get to the bottom of it either way. Maybe we can give you some solutions that you can take care of it yourself, free of cost. So, Dustin with DNR Pest Control. Thank you.
All right, awesome. So what was it when we were like kids in school? The teacher would be like, go ahead and get the wiggles out, right? They just got their wiggles out, so it's time. All right, I'm gonna give you the microphone first, Selinda. All right. So I prepared notes for myself too to keep this on track today. What we're gonna do with Selinda and Matt, because they're both realtors, is I'm gonna ask them some really important questions about markets and timing and buying and selling. Is now the time to wait? And then we're just going to kind of roundtable the three of us, where they're going to take turns answering. So I created some questions for them specifically. All right, Selinda, let's start with the question a lot of people are asking right now. Should I even be making a move? What's your take?
Well, being a realtor, yes, always. Well, should you be making a move? Absolutely, but it all depends on each person, what their needs are. A lot of people, what I see in today's market is that there's a lot of hesitation just because of the instability of our world right now, what's going around the world. I need to use my hands so that I can move. So with the high inflation, and so we see a lot of my buyers and sellers have the hesitation because, again, they're not comprehending, like, because we have the COVID and now we're post-COVID, so there's a lot of misunderstanding of what actually going on with the market. Because what's happening now is that our market is trying to get back to where it used to be before COVID. So when people see home that are being on the market for a long period of time, more than 2 months or whatever, they kind of like, oh my gosh, what's going on? And buyers are seeing more the high interest rate, and also with the elevated home price still, because you would think that the price have gone down dramatically, but it didn't. So the home price is still elevated. The interest rate is higher than it used to be. But if you look at the interest rate before COVID, 6%, I bought my first house at 7% back in 20, so actually 2000, that's a long time ago. But anyway, interest rate used to be like 11%, and that was just normal, right? So we're just trying to get to normality of the market.
We can pass it to Matt. He can give us his take on should I make a move right now? What are your buyers and sellers doing right now, Matt?
Well, should you make a move? Are you ready? Are you willing? Are you able? Financially able? And that's really what it comes down to. Every individual decision, every family. Trying to time the market doesn't generally work out. Life passes us by quickly. And what about 5 years ago? Should you made the move then? 10 years ago? How many houses should have you have bought? So I don't think there's any clear answer on this. It's up to where you are in life and if you're ready to live a better life.
Good answer on that.
I see you. Hold on.
Why don't you hold on to that, Matt? Because you've got a question coming in.
Okay.
What are you seeing in today's market that most people are misunderstanding?
National media. So, total confusion in the marketplace. You watch national media and you'll get every different signal you could imagine. Gas prices are going up or are they going down? Is there a war? Is there no war? But, you know, when it comes down to housing, there is just not worth watching. It really, you need to go local. And we've got other realtors in the room here. And unlike some other business, we don't compete with each other. We network with each other. That's how you find the best house, you know, for somebody. And the value in a realtor is local knowledge. Help you with due diligence, local knowledge. But the big one right now, and I'll touch on that later, is concessions. Right now, if you're a buyer, you can get concessions. What does that mean? That means you can buy down your mortgage rate. There's some mortgage lenders in the room here. You can buy some services from a pest control company. You know, there's all sorts of concessions. So you need that realtor that has experience in negotiations and the one that represents you best, just like an attorney. You're going for the best. It's the biggest, probably, deal of your lifetime.
What about you, Selinda? Are your clients misunderstanding anything, or most people?
I would say that most people that, for buyers, there's basically they don't really understand what's going on. And like Matt was saying, like now buyer has more power than they used to for the past several years, just because the concessions and you can ask quite a bit from the seller. And seller will have to understand that, you know, that they have the concession to the buyer's need as well, just because like offering like home warranty, you know, like that has been gone out the window for a couple of years during like, you know, 23, 22. But now that we can ask for a lot of repairs or, you know, right now I see that the buyer and seller is coming more like a balanced market where both parties can come together and make a transaction successful. If no one bends, no one's gonna be able to close on a home. So, and I educate my buyers like, look, this is a perfect time to buy because you also have a lot of inventory on the market. You're not having a lot of competitions. And yes, the interest rate is high and the price is also high. But if you can marry the rate, basically date the rate and marry the home, that would be a great time to do it if they're able to do it financially. So.
Wonderful, thank you. And then who should be buying or selling right now, and who might pause?
Those that are financially able to purchase, definitely take that next step. I work with people like different walks of life where some of them, they really don't have a clue of what they want or what they can afford. I love the one that comes to me with pre-approval because you know that that type of people are pretty much set on what they're looking for. Those who are well aware of the market and educated themselves and seeing where they financially fit into the market, those are in the best position to purchase. And the one that is not quite ready, we also have a lot of looky-loosey too because of you always have that in real estate. So, but those are the one you have to babysit a little bit and just kind of like walk them through, like, this is what we need to do. This is a strategy. We need to work up a plan. And yeah, I'm sorry, what was the other?
I think you answered it well, and there's less time to guide them. Definitely. Matt, you kind of touched on this already in your intro about who might want to buy or sell or pause. So if you want, I can just lead into the next question unless you had another point to add to that.
Okay, we'll go on to the next question. Go ahead.
Yeah, so what's one sign that somebody is actually ready to make a move besides what you've already said? Like they're ready in terms of financially sound, they're ready in terms of having a house, but then what do you do next? Like what comes next for that buyer in your world?
What comes next? Well, certainly, I mean, some of the signs would certainly be, did they have a new baby? Are they relocating here? You know, there's things that drive this. But one of the things some people sit on the sidelines for, I think of, is like taxation. We look at taxation and we go, oh my gosh. But you know what? If you do it now or you do it a year from now, it's pretty much going to be the same, because you have something in Florida called Save Our Homes Portability. Whatever you've earned, you can move on to your new home. And if there's going to be a tax reduction, which there's a sign that may be coming, we're all going to get it, you know. So that shouldn't be something that you think about there. But it really goes back to the same thing. You're willing and you're able? Are you working with your mortgage broker, your bank, to prepare yourself?
I think, let's repeat the question again.
No, that's okay. The question here was, you know, when somebody's ready to make the move, you said they come to you, they're not pre-qual or they are pre-qual. So we've kind of already touched this question, but just in case you had another point to add to this, I was going to give you that. Otherwise, I can move into the next question for you.
Oh, yeah, I think, yeah, I did answer that.
Between these two questions. So we a lot of this is redundancy. That's just how real estate works. You're either ready or you're not. Okay, perfect. Here's the question I will ask you. The question for you, Selinda, is what's one mistake homeowners are making when they're trying to time the market?
Well, that's just like asking me if I have a crystal ball. So obviously we can't tell the future. We can gauge the market because we can do analysis and, you know, things like that and follow the trends. But gauging the market is the worst thing they can do, just because of the fact that it's never going to be a perfect time, because my perfect time is going to be different than you guys's. So I look at it I let them know, like, look, what is it that you need to do? Is it a must to move right now? If it's not a must right now, maybe you can time the market a little bit, maybe see how the progression go with the, you know, like whether it's going up or down, because market shift and change on too often to try to gauge. So, but there's a lot of factors that affect the market, you know, like rate and inventory and things like that. So, but if someone would try to tell me like, okay, I need to move, like I need to relocate or, you know, upsize and downsize, I need to do it now, then that would be a perfect timing for you to make that move. So.
What if someone does come to you? So there is an old real estate joke that used to live in my world too, where it was like someone asked you, what's the best time to buy a house? Well, in 1942, the best time to buy a house.
2000.
The best time is
Yeah,
today.
yeah.
So if someone did come to you and say, I need to buy a house in the next 6 to 12 months, what would you advise them to do?
I basically kind of get your financial in order first thing, because, you know, especially if you have to loan money from the bank or lenders, get your debt to income ratio to the point of where it's acceptable and you're able to afford the home, so that you can get better rate and things like that. Those are the make an impact on your monthly payment. So I would say get your financial in order, get your and then we can keep an eye on things. Usually when they have a long-term goal between 6 to 12 months, we're not actually gonna go out and look at homes, because that's useless. I mean, unless you're in like a 3-month period, then we can definitely go out and look at home properties then. But a lot of buyers are so antsy, they want to go out into the market, say, I wanna see what kind of house I like, or so that's just wasting your time, although you don't think that's your time is wasted, but you're wasting the agent's time, your time, because what's on the market at the moment is not going to be available when you're ready in 6 months. So, but we can't start the process of getting you to be in a position yourself to be successful when the time comes, like, you know, getting a mortgage, lenders and things like that. Yeah, I normally tell them like, okay, so geographically, because a lot of people, especially first-time home buyer, they don't really have an idea of what they want and where they want it to be. I used to be one of those, because I would look at 70 homes with my past agent on my first house, on my second house. So, and it was to the point to like, you need to just concentrate on a certain area. Go check those neighborhood yourself, you know, like what attracts you to a certain community. So when the time comes closer, within like 3 to 4 months, yes, we can definitely go out and look at those inventory and see.
Perfect.
Okay.
Matt, what about you? Timing the market, buying in the next 6 to 12 months, what advice would you give someone?
Well, there must be somebody in here think they can time the market. How are you doing with that stock? Okay, so it's the same thing. You don't know. You know, we have some builders in the room here too, and you know, one of the things is we don't see the doom and gloom stuff that happens where the market's going to drop like this. It's pretty stable, and some of that goes back to what's the cost to build a home. You know, that's always a tool that you'll measure with, because the resale prices follow, and that has some impact on it. And you know, trust is really what I say for people that are looking to get a home and also, you know, get in that right neighborhood, is line yourself with people you trust. Line yourself with a WPBA member, you know, a realtor, mortgage broker, and other vendors, because it's the biggest, once again, for most families, the biggest transaction you'll make. And once you gain that trust, and we gain that trust with you, we can guide you of the path, but also we can put you with the best vendors out there. Thank you.
Perfect, thank you. So, for some people, making the move makes sense, but what happens when it doesn't make sense and you need to stay put right where you are? And that's where our good friend Nikki is.
I'm trying to figure out how to do this. Okay, I think I'm good now.
Whenever you need to.
Okay, so if you're looking for a house and maybe you just can't find that house and you start thinking, well, maybe I want to build, or maybe I want to fix what I'm living in. I sat here and thought, like, there's 10 million questions you can ask. There's all these variables. Do I want this? Do I want that? But really the big question, you got to solve the actual problem. Why do you want to move? Why are you thinking about selling your house? So look at things around your house and figure out what the problem is. Do I not have enough space? So do I want to add, or do I want to move? Is it too outdated? I've seen a lot of houses. We moved here 5 years ago, and when we started looking, there's a thing in the kitchens where they lower the ceiling and put the fan in the middle. It's super sexy. So that is not a thing in North Carolina, so I thought it was really exciting to see. Too much maintenance. Sometimes your house, depending on where you are financially, sometimes the older your house, the more it takes to maintain it. So is that a problem? Lack of storage. Storage is kind of an easy thing to fix if that's one of your issues, but if it is, then we need to look at how can we either add you storage. Do you need to look at a house that has better storage so you don't have to go through the hassle of building that storage? And then another thing that I see with clients is it's just not open enough. That's a really big thing. It's been a big thing for a while. But with the older houses, a lot of times all the rooms are secular. You know, they're all in their own space. I do see kind of a trend, people wanting a little bit more walls, not quite as open, but definitely most people do not like the individual rooms. So these are the questions. So really you've got to sit down and figure out what is the problem. Because if you don't answer the right problem, it's going to cost you money. And say okay, I've got to have a kitchen. I need a new kitchen. If I just had a new kitchen, everything would be great. And then you get the new kitchen and it's not great. And so now you've spent a lot of money on your new kitchen, which you do get some of it back, when you sell your home, but unlikely that you get it all back. So you've wasted money. So you just do a lot of kind of soul searching on what is the true issue. So once you figure that out, how do I start? What do I do? When I walk through homes with clients, here's kind of the top things that we look at. Can we move walls? This goes to the space issue, the openness. A lot of times, the wall that you want to move is structural. It's just the way it works. But it's still doable. You just have to make sure you hire the right licensed contractor to do it. because what you don't want is you don't want that wall coming down later because it's holding up your roof line. Repurpose underused rooms. An example of this is, maybe your child just went to, this is a joke kind of, but your kid just went to college, now you have a workout room. So, so I don't need to join a community that has a workout room as an amenity because I have it in my house now. So if you kind of look at things that way and how can I repurpose, then that's what we do. Again, improving storage. And one thing that's really big here in Florida is outdoor space, as it should be. Most of the year is beautiful. You can have dinners outside, set up a bar, have a kitchen. You can have an amazing space outside. Better functionality. Here's an example that I'm seeing a lot here as I'm starting my business here is I'm tired of stepping over that tub. I want a walk-in shower. And so that's a pretty easy transition to do. And it doesn't take that long, but it makes a big difference in your current home. I would probably talk to your real estate agent, but I would recommend you at least have one tub in your house. Here's an example of outdoor space. This backyard was just fairly large to be on a canal, but we went in with a pool, and where I'm standing, there's a dining room table. So they actually have room to go in with an outdoor lanai over that, and then they can put in an actual kitchen. So they're doing that in stages. Okay, so what if I want both function and future value? What should I do? I think everybody in this room probably knows this, but it's in the kitchens and baths. That's where your money is. I think you get the biggest, and correct me if I'm wrong, all the real estate agents, but I think you get your biggest payback from a percentage of return in your kitchens and baths, especially the kitchen. Because when you're looking at a house, where's the first place you go? You walk through the foyer, you go straight to the kitchen. Another thing to make sure that you're going to get the best bang for your buck is the flow. When I walk in, do I run into a wall? Or do I walk in and it's very inviting? And all of a sudden my guests come in and they're like, oh, wow, this is incredible. And then, you're flowing into the kitchen. That's probably the second place. Cohesive flooring, you wouldn't think that's really a big thing. But I have been at several open houses. I've worked with real estate agents, and just being at the open house, you hear people all the time say, oh, well, each room has their own floor, instead of, again, that flow through the house. And if you think about when you build a house, or if you have ever built a house, typically you have the same flooring throughout the house. Maybe in the master bath, or maybe one of the bedrooms is a little different, but typically, it's flowing through the whole house. Another thing that improves value is energy efficiency. Of course, here in Florida, we're really big on the HVAC. Make sure that that's up to date, that it's going to be a good seller. And I haven't really gotten much into the solar panels, but I think they're really big here too. And then, of course, curb appeal. When our house specifically, after the flood, we had planned on painting it and never got to it. So after the flood, we did. We went from like a white house that kind of blended into the street, and I painted it blue. And now everybody that walks past our house says, your house looks amazing. And literally all I did was paint it. I didn't do anything else. So curb appeal is really big. I heard it earlier this morning. As soon as they pull up to the house, you want them to go, oh yeah, I like this, because they're thinking about their friends showing up, their family showing up. Open and more functional. There's the ceiling. So this wall that is in the first picture was very load bearing. It's full of concrete. So we pulled that wall out, and there was a closed in lanai on the other side. So we pulled that wall out, put a steel beam across, and then the second picture is what we landed with. So you can see it looks like a completely different place, but it is the exact same vantage point from that picture. This is the same house. When you walked in the front door, it was like a really small room, and then there was the kitchen that you saw. And then from the kitchen, there was a long hallway that went out to the garage. They had added the garage on. And so you'll see in the second picture, we just took that wall out, which was also very load bearing. And then created a hallway there instead of that long, corridor hallway, which opened up space, and it actually made a better entrance to the master bedroom. So things like that as you're walking through, and but again, you've got to solve the problem. What is the problem? You've got to figure out, do you hate walking down that corridor? I hate going to my car because I got to walk down the corridor. Then we need to do something like this so that it flows better. Okay, so what updates actually move the needle versus what's just trendy? It's a tricky question because everyone likes different things, everyone has their own way. So I was thinking about this, I'm like, I don't know really what to say. I know what to say. What do you avoid? The best thing with trendy is what do you avoid? Overly custom features, you've got to, if you think what your main problem is, if it's something that's going to make your house, that specific thing, very overly custom, you may want to double think that. Or you have to get to where I'm okay that it is very custom and it may hurt when I go to sell. So you just have to, you just have to weigh what your options are. Ultra trendy finishes, usually the flashy and the stuff you see on HGTV that's all brand new and you're like, oh, this looks awesome. Wait a little bit, maybe 6 months and just kind of see where that trend goes. And then over upgrading for your neighborhood. So if one of your issues is that you don't have enough room, and your house is 2,000 square feet, and the average house in your neighborhood's 1,500. So you're already at the top square footage of your neighborhood. So that's kind of when you start thinking maybe it's time to sell and move to a neighborhood that has a bigger average, so that when I do add, I'm not going to be 2,500 square feet in a 1,500 square feet neighborhood, because that really does hurt when it comes to resale. Sorry, told you I was good. Okay, so now I know my problem, but how do I fix it? Like, what do I do? This is where you need to make sure you hire the right contractor. There are lots of projects that you can do that you don't need a licensed contractor. They need to be licensed in their area. For maybe you're just fixing one thing. But if you're moving walls and you're doing major structural things, you have to have a general contractor. And things to make sure. So in North Carolina, it was different. We didn't have this qualifier thing.
We're a little tight on time, so
Okay.
I was just going to suggest that everyone can ask you about specifically what's required, like your permitting, your contracting, and all of that in detail. So I guess leave them with how to get in touch with you.
Okay, all right. With my email?
Your website.
Okay, well, website is contractorchick.com with a K. It's C-H-I-K, so I had to spell it a little different, but that's the website. So visit my website, lots of information on there, but just when you get to that point, just make sure you're covered, make sure they're insured, make sure they're licensed. That's the big thing.
Thank you, Nikki. Keegan, it's going over your head. Jennifer, it's going over your head, so that it's positioned for you when it's time. So, all right, well, thanks so much for talking about that. So now let's say you've committed to staying in your home. So we'll start from the top down, loosely, with Keegan of Sharpe Roofing. All right, Keegan.
Salutations.
Yes. So how does the condition of a roof impact a home's value for sale?
Very much so. You'll actually see it a lot of times. Well, I've noticed it a lot of times working with realtors where, somebody's looking to buy this house, they love the house, but it needs a roof. So now they're looking for concessions, which you had brought up earlier, where they're like, okay, well, what if we do this? Well, and now they're having to lower the price of the home in order to compensate for that. Whereas, if they were being a little bit more proactive and was like, I know the roof's 17, 18 years old, I'm going to go ahead and replace it now and then I don't have to worry about dealing with that when the time comes to sell.
So what should homeowners be paying attention to before it's a problem?
Be on the lookout for things like granular loss, which you'll see in your gutters or maybe coming out of your downspouts. If you don't have gutters, you'll notice it along, all of your eaves or where the water. Right, like the little rock pieces off of the shingles. You'll notice it like on the sidewalks or like around or anywhere where there's water runoff. That's one of the first things, because then that means that when you see a lot of it, that means the shingle compound is starting to break down. And the other thing that you probably want to look at, and a lot of people overlook this, they automatically go, I have a roof leak. And then we'll go out and inspect, and we'll find out that there's this teeny tiny hairline crack in the stucco up by your chimney. And people don't realize that when we get that really hard wind-driven rain, that little teeny tiny hairline crack that you can't see from the ground is letting a ton of water in. So, check your stucco, check around windows and that kind of thing, because it could actually be a wall leak. And then if you stay on top of that, you don't have to worry about, that type of thing as well.
So what's one proactive step people can take this year, homeowners, for their home?
One of the ones that I talk about all the time is keeping your trees trimmed. That's a big one, because of the fact that, speaking of the granules in particular, the granules are the UV protection or the sunscreen for the shingle. And as those break down over time, or if you've got a tree branch that's constantly scraping against or something like that, you're breaking that down, and then you're allowing the UV to essentially do its job and cook or bake that fiberglass shingle material underneath. Then it's going to lose its pliability, it's going to lose its adhesion qualities, and it's just going to cause it to break down prematurely. The other thing that goes along with that is cleaning out your gutters. Because if your gutters are filled up and it's allowing water to pool along the most vulnerable part of your roof, again, you're breaking those compounds down quicker than you should. So just by doing little things like that. And then the other thing about it is just if you're absolutely dead set on cleaning your roof, which I don't recommend, if you don't have to walk on your roof, particularly with a shingle roof, don't, because you're knocking those granules off, So make sure that you hire somebody that is using the proper chemicals. They're just not spraying your roof with bleach, and they're not using 180 PSI to blow all the granules off. Make sure that you do your research on that. But I mean, just, go about it with, it's like, okay, I'm going to get up on a ladder and I'm going to blow the gutters out with a leaf blower. That's all you need to do. You don't need to get up there with a broom and all of that type of stuff. So just, those types of things.
Is there anything else you want to leave our group with today from your world?
Yeah. I mean, basically, if you have any questions about anything or you're not sure about something, ask me. And if I don't know the answer, I'll find out and I'll get back to you. Like, I have no problem with that. I'm very humble when it comes to that types of things, because I'm the type of person that learns something new every day. And I'm totally cool with that. So again, I'm always happy to help. I'm always glad to help in any way that I can. Thank you.
We heard Matt and Nikki and Selinda and so far Keegan talk about curb appeal. So I feel like your lawn is one of the most important parts of the curb appeal.
Yeah, and irrigation really does drive curb appeal, but behind the scenes, of course, because people don't see the system itself really running, but they immediately notice the results, whether good or bad. If you see, brown spots and dead spots or standing water, it quickly makes your property feel pretty neglected. And when everything's working properly, everything looks consistent, so lawns are green, plants are healthy, and the landscape feels balanced and maintained. That creates a strong first impression, so buyers feel confidence in the home. But it also speaks to efficiency. Features like smart controllers, rain sensors, and pressure-regulated heads show the home is updated and not wasting water. So irrigation really is the foundation behind that clean, polished look.
Perfect. So what's a common issue you see homeowners overlook?
Inefficiency in their irrigation system or their drainage systems. A lot of systems are technically working, so they get ignored. So just because they come on doesn't mean everything's getting what it needs. So they're watering unevenly, and it's leading to the dried patches and overwatering in other areas, which stresses the lawn and wastes water. And drainage is another big one. If water isn't moving away properly, you end up with soggy spots or standing water that can cause bigger problems like your foundation issues over time. And the challenge with these issues build slowly, so they're easy to miss until they do affect your curb appeal or become very expensive. When irrigation and drainage are working the way they should, everything looks healthier, more consistent, and easier to maintain.
So what's one simple upgrade that makes a big difference?
Improving how your system responds to weather, starting with smart controllers and rain sensors. A lot of homes still use like the basic timers, and they water the same way every day, and no matter the conditions. But a smart controller adjusts to things like rainfall and temperature, and a rain sensor will prevent the system from even running when it's already wet, so you're not wasting that water. And then another upgrade is using pressure regulated heads, and that helps distribute water more evenly and eliminates the dry patches and the soggy areas. So small upgrade, but big noticeable effect.
So you talked about smart sensors and inefficiencies. What is some advice that you would give homeowners if they're not sure if their irrigation system is adequate?
Don't assume it is just because it turns on and runs. Look at the results. Yeah, if you see those dry patches, soggy spots, inconsistent growth, your plants look sad, you know. The system isn't running efficiently, and honestly, even the best spray or fertilization program can't perform the way it should without consistent watering. And a lot of systems are outdated and weren't designed for how the landscape is now, and you know, it's changed over the years, so you need to fix it. The next best step is just having a simple evaluation. Have a professional check coverage, pressure, overall performance. It's not usually about replacing everything. Small adjustments can make a big difference, because when everything is all dialed in, your lawn treatments, your landscaping, and everything works better.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna stand up.
Perfect.
I've been sitting for way too long.
Sorry, Justin.
Sorry.
But irrigation and lawn pest control go hand in hand, which brings us to the things that no one wants to talk about, and the professional here to help you get rid of it.
That's right. I'm gonna show you dirty, disgusting photos.
Not 3D. Cool.
Not 3D, no.
You got your control over there, Justin, so you can flip through as I ask you questions.
Sure.
If you want. So the first question I have for you is, how do pest issues impact a home for sale or inspection?
In every single way. So you don't want bugs in your home when you're trying to sell a home or you're going to move into a home. So you definitely want to have that stuff inspected, taken care of, or at least under control before the new or old homeowner moves in or out. Or even during a remodel. So if you're getting a remodel done, you happen to tear down walls, you happen to find stuff that you really didn't notice. Sounds like experience back there, Mary. But if you tear down some walls or you get new flooring put in, you kind of notice some stuff that maybe you never noticed before, because now you're really getting into the home. Definitely give us a call. We'll come out and take a look at it and let you know if it's something serious or maybe nothing serious at all. So
what are some things that homeowners can do proactively?
Much like Keegan said here, trees touching the roof is a huge no-no in our world as well. Irrigation is another one. So over-irrigation will cause a lot of pests, but not considered household pests. So you'll get earwigs in the home. They're a good pest. I know you don't want to hear that, but things like that are good for the lawn, but also they're going to push into the house because of maybe over-irrigation or too much watering going on. So you're going to push in a lot of just average things in the home that aren't going to cause any problems besides an eyesore.
What's something that you've seen hurt a home's value?
Termites right here. So this is us underneath don't mind the S being way down there. My poor wife was putting this together for me probably while feeding the baby or something. This is John and I under a home. Basically, not a mobile home, but it's just a stilt home, but we do mobile homes as well. Just because it's a mobile home doesn't mean you're protected. Just because it's a block home doesn't mean you're protected. This is how they get in. These are subterranean termites. They build a tube to protect themselves to get into your home and get into the wood, and then work their way up into your windowsills or moisture-bound areas. In these situations, we have to dig a moat around these pillars and then fill those with termiticide, push the dirt back in once it's dried into the soil, and then back spray the rest of that topsoil, so that way it's basically like a drag net or electric fence basically underneath your home. That's good for 4 years. But ultimately, you don't want it to get to this point. There are way better ways of protecting your home from termites that you don't have to go to this extreme and cost that kind of crazy money to take care of it in time. I mean, that's a full day's job right there for 3 guys. Here's some more termite damage. This is a block home coming up under the sink, right here off Regency. You see that little bit of mud tube on the far right photo shooting up. That's them just looking for more resources. They'll just make it like, is it stalactite or stalagmite, whichever one comes from the ground up, I don't know. But that's them reaching up, looking for more resources to get into cabinetry or other wood. More of that. This is underneath another home. Now they're going back down in the far right photo. That they've exhausted most of the wood resources they can find, and now they're going back down. The one in the middle, that's a mobile home, and as you can see, they're going from block to steel beam to get into the house. And this would be your trench and treat here. So the middle photo is just how you would do a trench and treat. And these are extreme situations. This is, when it's gone bad and they're getting into the home. So you dig a moat around the house. Wherever there's dirt or soil or rock or sand, pull that back, fill it in. And then over here in the far right, that's Ricky, is my business partner. And then wherever there's cement or anything like that, has to be drilled and pumped through each single time. And then we backfill those holes. About a month later, we'll come back, inspect the home, make sure everything's okay after that month, and then fill the holes back in. And again, it's a 4-year warranty on that kind of stuff.
Great. So I'm sure everyone has this question for you, because I know I've asked you at least 3 times since I've met you. What's your number 1 horror story from the field?
Oh, there's number 1. It's 15 years in the industry. There's just too many. I mean, I had to write a book. A couple, hoarding. Hoarding, having a lot of stuff inside your home is a big no-no. Jungle plants around the house, a lot of tropical plants up against the home cause a lot of issues, and neglect. I say some of the worst things I've seen, German roaches and rodents, even though I showed you a bunch of termite nonsense, but those are kind of silent little destroyers that don't make themselves too known unless, some of those pictures are from hoarder houses. So with all that clutter, we didn't know those termites were behind all those boxes and things until we started tearing into the home more. But rodents, just because you saw 1 or 2 and you happen to think you got rid of it in a snap trap, they're there. They're there. So have us come out and check the home, seal the home. Another thing that's good to have sealed before they get into the home, because it'll be a lot cheaper that way. But rats will make themselves very comfortable, and they're very smart, and they're problem solvers. So when we get to that level, it's a lot harder, but yeah, they'll get into your food. I didn't have any pictures here, but get under your counter, eat your own food, eat your pet's food. Here's how we seal up rodent jobs, in some cases down in St. Pete. But German roach is probably the worst. That's something like a bed bug almost. All it takes is 1 or 2 to get in your bag and you carry it into your home from somewhere else, and then they'll infest. They breed every 7 to 10 days. So when we do commercial businesses, we do that every month, mainly just to keep that under control completely because of all the packages coming in and out. But yeah, German roaches, I'd say the worst one I ever saw. House was so infested. This was back when I first got into the business, over 15 years ago now. I think it was Section 8 kind of housing. Unfortunately, it was so bad, the parents were so bad, they had their kids taken away. The furniture and wherever there was anything up against the wall, roaches like that, German roaches, typically will be in the kitchen. It's kind of ground zero for them. It's where they want to be. They had moved into every single room and every square inch of this house and got behind every piece of furniture. So wherever there was a picture on the wall or was a couch up against the wall, once all those items were removed, there was a perfect outline of roach feces plastered to the wall. Yeah. Even down to the decor of the mirror over the dresser, the little corkscrew kind of, you could see the droppings like this, like painted on the wall. Had to wear a hazmat suit, respirator, not even because of the chemicals, just because of the amount of roach feces that are in a home like that. So you have to wear protective gear just from that, and it's not the chemical.
That was the only question I had for you, but I know you had a
Sure, and we're very happy insects, good insects. We keep an eye out for these kind of things during certain times of the year, like today, or this time of year. We don't spray flowering plants because we obviously need pollinators and other things to keep the world going. So we're very aware of keeping other things safe. and killing the ones we don't want around.
So thank you, everyone. I know we have, so we're right at we're actually 10 minutes over, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna have our drawing first, and those who have to leave can leave, but I do wanna open the